everyone, I'm Nurse Geddes, and I'll be speaking on the importance of mental health, the ways to improve your mental health, and I'll also be giving some tips on how to maintain your mental health. Our health, as we know, is very important. The World Health Organization defined health as the state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So basically, stating this definition to show that mental health is an integral and essential part of our overall health. Right? The World Health Organization also defined mental health as a state of well being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities and can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. The main points to take away from this definition are coping with normal stresses of life. So, coping with stress is an important part of maintaining your mental health. Working productively, that is activity, maintaining your daily activity, that is also important, and contributing to your community. Communicating, socializing, those are very important parts of maintaining your mental health. To improve your mental health, you must first recognize the signs and symptoms, of mental health depletion, and these include having trouble concentrating, having trouble sleeping, insomnia. That is very, very important because sleep is one way of controlling or slowing down brain activities and maintaining your energy and helping you to think. Sleep is very important. Rest is very important. Feeling sad or depressed more than usual is also one sign. And mood swings, having regular mood swings more than the usual also. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, wrote that 1 in 4 adults worldwide suffer from diagnosable mental health disorder in a given year. Depression is at the top of this list, and 2/3 of the people with diagnosable mental disorder do not seek treatment. Especially in Jamaica, most persons do not seek the help they need for mental illness. And the main reason for that is because they are in denial most times. Persons do not believe they can have mental illness that is mild, like persons do not they do not recognize the signs and symptoms and go to healthcare facilities for help, even if they do. For example, parents having children at home that isolate themselves from other children, they might have mood swings, they might seem depressed, and what is done is most times they might force the child to go and play. They don't believe that it could be a mental illness and bring them in for checks they don't believe that they need to seek medical attention. Scientists say that mental health disorders result from genes and environmental factors. So, yes, you can be born into a family that has history of mental health, and that can give you, you can be prone or liable to be mentally ill. And the environment is very important. As we know, the environment we're in is the number one factor that stress is from. So our work, school, all of that contribute to environmental stressors. Um, so know that you know how to recognize when you have signs and symptoms to show that your mental health is being depleted. I'm going to give you some tips on how to maintain your mental health. Tip number one, rest. You have to have plenty of rest. When you're feeling pressured, you need to sleep. And I know that most times you have to put in the work because you want to meet a certain deadline, or you need to do this because you need the grade, but it can affect your mental health if you do not get adequate amount of rest. Avoiding use of drugs and alcohol, as these alter the activities of the brain cells and causes your mental health to deplete. Your thinking will be affected. Also, as I said before, managing your stress is very important. And ways you can do this is engaging in activities, and just finding ways to keep yourself in a good mood most of the time. If you find yourself isolating from others, you you may go to a health facility, and seek help. Um, Communication, final tip. Communication is very important. You have to be open, talk to someone. And that is another disadvantage of most persons. They do not feel the need to express their feelings. But it is very important to express how you feel. And if you need help, you get help. Right? So, as these are very important tips and very important ways to maintain your mental health. Well, that is it. As we always say, there is no good health without mental health. So,
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this online seminar hosted by the Faculty of Science and Technology. A special welcome to our first-year students at the university and of this faculty. I'm Reverend Michael Elliott, and I'm a priest in the Anglican Church here in Jamaica, what we call the Diocese of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. I'm based in St. Catherine, where I have responsibility for two churches, Church of the Holy Spirit and St. Andrew's Chapel. I welcome you also as a graduate of the university and a graduate of what was then called the Faculty of Natural Sciences, where I gained my first degree in computer studies. I've been asked to address you on the issue of spiritual health, spiritual well-being at this health and wellness seminar. And I hope to go through these 3 areas briefly, for they are huge areas, each one by itself. But I ask you to bear with me as I take a quick look at each one and hope that it will be of use. It's not my intention as a Christian to force my beliefs on you, but as a Christian, I will be taking some of my points from the Bible and my Christian faith. So, importance of spiritual health, ways to be spiritually well, how to maintain being spiritually well. Let's look at spiritual a little bit. The quality of being concerned with our souls, our spirits as human beings, as opposed to material things around us. It's a recognition also of some feeling or sense or belief that there is someone or something greater than ourselves. It's speaking to acknowledging that there's something more to being human than our normal sensory experiences. And I trust you know that speaks to our senses of smell, touch, etc. Spirituality could be said to be that which speaks to a perceived or faith-based notion that we're all part of a greater whole. Some may say of a cosmic or divine nature. Spirituality is where one's life or belief system belief system, and where one has a sense of being rooted, grounded into something or someone. We experience peace of mind. We have a sense of meaning and purpose to life. It manifests itself in different ways, the different expressions of spirituality around the world. Just mentioned 4 here, which I think most, if not all of us, should have heard of, if not familiar with. And of course, being a Christian, that's where I take my point of departure. Now, we live in a world that is filled with conflicting messages about our existence. A world that gives messages about what is love, what is sex, how do we manage or run our relationships, careers, our purposes in life, different messages about what is beauty, what are riches, what is religion, what is faith, and just about any and everything we can think about. But our spirituality affects all of these things, and all these things affect our spirituality. And so, as I said, as a Christian, my perspective will be influenced by my Christian faith in Jesus Christ as the Son of God. That's my foundation. I will also refer to, as I said, to 1 or 2 scriptural passages or stories. But in the end, it is my hope that you will understand what I'm bringing across, and also understand that all of us are in need to pay attention to our spiritualities and our spiritual health. And we do so by examining our lives, our sense of being. We do that by examining our purpose and what are the benefits of developing and maintaining a good spiritual health and wellness, especially as you journey through UWI and the Faculty of Science and Technology. So the first point was importance of spiritual health. And I'm going to use a story to give us a perspective on the way we can view the importance of our spiritual health. It is an alleged transcript, or a transcript of an alleged conversation, radio conversation between a US naval vessel and the Canadian authorities off the coast of Newfoundland sometime in October 1995. And it goes like this. Canadians, And they say, U.S. naval vessel, please divert your course 15 degrees south to avoid a collision with us. Naval vessel. We recommend you divert your course 15 degrees north to avoid a collision with us. Negative. You will have to divert your course 15 degrees south to avoid a collision. A naval vessel. This is the captain of a U.S. Navy ship. I say again, divert your course, Canadians. Oh no, I say again, you divert your course, the Americans. This is the aircraft carrier USS Lincoln, the second largest ship in the United States Atlantic Fleet. We are accompanied by 3 destroyers, 3 cruisers, and numerous support vessels. I demand that you change your course 15 degrees north. I say again, that's 15 degrees north, or countermeasures will be undertaken to ensure the safety of our ships, the Canadians. This is a lighthouse. The next move is yours. Now, your question I would ask is, which of these 2 groups would you say are better and more strongly rooted and grounded? And in what would they be rooted and grounded in? I'm sure you would agree with me that the lighthouse has a firmer foundation than the naval vessels. The same applies to our spiritual health. For good spiritual wellness, we have to be firmly rooted and grounded in something or someone. When a person is spiritually grounded and rooted, that individual is better able to stand against obstacles and challenges that life brings, no matter how formidable they are. And this includes being in FST here at UE. For the Christian, it means being rooted and grounded in our faith in Jesus Christ, in God, who is our creator. Second point, ways to be spiritually well. Most persons would agree that human beings we are tripartite beings made up of body, mind, and spirit. Mind or soul can be used interchangeably. Our spiritual well-being, therefore, is not limited to spiritual things or practices alone. They include having and living a meaningful, purposeful, balanced life. Being spiritually well involves taking care of our entire being in the midst of our busy lives, and in your case especially, your busy timetables, which I trust you all have by now, and maybe wondering how you're going to get through all of that work. Being spiritually well means we should inculcate proper habits, good habits that include exercise, nutrition, getting regular medical checkups. What do we read? Finding time to be silent and still in the busyness of life, and getting proper rest. All of this is hard, especially for university students, but these are the kind of habits we should try to practice as a way of life. It also includes surrounding ourselves with positive energy sources, the people around us, the things we listen to and the things we watch, the things we read. We should monitor, therefore, what we take in through our senses, eyes, ears, and mouth, nose, and touch, and especially in this time of COVID-19, the mouth and nose are critical to protect them, right? It speaks of having good, healthy relationships with family and friends, our fellow students, our lecturers, and with our environment. And I think some of you may know what that means. I don't have time to go into that. Other spiritual practices, direct spiritual practices, include meditation, reflecting on something or something we read or heard or listened to, something that originates perhaps from God, our creator, our supreme being, the divine source of our lives, as you may call it. Also about listening to ourselves and to others. making time to pray for those who would talk to God. And in relating to God, to not just ask for help, but also be people who express gratitude for life's blessings, having an attitude of gratitude, as you see that later, listening and speaking with God. As I said, having an attitude, be thankful for the things that we have, things that happen to us, the blessings we receive in life. And even when we think bad things happen, they might be leading us actually to better things. Journaling, recording or writing our conversations with God, with ourselves, the questions we ask of life, write them down. Write down the answers that come to our minds. Look back at them later on and you may be surprised how much they reveal about who you are. Learn to love yourself, treat yourself well, but at the same time, balance that by loving others. Love your neighbor as yourself, as the scriptures would say. One of the ways to do that is to learn to serve others. Mahatma Gandhi, that Hindu mystic, once said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. Don't be selfish. And from a Christian perspective, Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit or acknowledge God, and he will direct, or he'll make your path straight. Third point, spiritual well-being. How do we maintain that? I want to look at this story of Daniel from the scriptures. Daniel was captured and taken to Babylon to serve a foreign king. He was a Jew, so he was taken from Israel to Babylon. When that happened, he didn't complain. He resolved to be the best young man he could be. He was approximately your age, actually, a teenager, a young adult. And so he resolved to do the best he could, even in a foreign land. And how would he do that? We are going to see how his spiritual groundedness served him well as he navigated the challenges that confronted him in life. In Daniel 1, I want to read some of what the scriptures say, and you can look at these points if you see any of them coming out. But as he was captured, Daniel was being trained to serve the king. And it said the king chose in his service young men without physical defect who are handsome, showing an aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and they qualified to serving the king's palace. This is verse 4 of chapter 1. Now, an interesting thing happened in verse 5. The king assigned them a daily amount of food and drink, and the drink in those days was wine. They were to be trained for 3 years, just like how many of you are being trained at UWI in that space of time, and then they would enter into the king's employment. Daniel was there along with 3 of his friends and others. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine, and instead asked permission to eat just vegetables and drink water. Now we might think he was stupid, but again, Daniel's spirituality was grounded in the kind of food he ate as a Jewish person, as a worshiper of God. In those days, the foreign people's food, some of it was forbidden for Jews. So Daniel did not want to break his spiritual practice of proper nutrition as instructed by God. So Daniel asked not to eat it, but his trainer said, I can't do that. The king would have my head. And Daniel said to him, test me and my brothers. With 10 days, we will eat nothing but vegetables and drink water. And after 10 days, compare us with those who are eating the king's food. And based on the results, you treat us as you see fit. So he agreed. And at the end of 10 days, the Bible says, verse 15, at the end of 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthier, better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. You see, Daniel served as best he could. He continued his spiritual practices, and this one of proper nutrition as he developed his mind while in captivity. We're going to see where the practice of prayer was also important to Daniel. We see this in chapter 6. Again, Daniel had by this time earned the respect of the king, having been there for a few years. But he also gained enemies. And his enemies were jealous of Daniel because the king respected him. The king held him in high esteem. And these enemies plotted against Daniel. And they did it in this way. They spoke to the king and bigged him up, you know, as we would say, kiss his ass, as we would say in some language. And they said, King, you're so great. Build yourself a statue. And for 30 days, ordered all the people in your kingdom, every time they hear the trumpet and so on, they're to bow down and worship your statue. And the king agreed because, of course, it appealed to his ego. And he got the statue built and everything and instituted this law. For 30 days, everybody, every time they heard the bells and the trumpets and so on, were to bow down and worship the statue. Daniel heard of it. Chapter 6, verse 10 tells us this. Now, when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. That was his hometown. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to God, as he had always done all his life. His enemies, these men, went as a group and found Daniel praying and asking God for help. They went to the king and spoke to him about his decree. Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human except you, your majesty, would be thrown into the lion's den? And the king, of course, yes, said so. And so Daniel was brought to account. And he was thrown in the lion's den. The king was sad because the king held Daniel in high esteem. But in the lion's den, he was spared his life. The scriptures say God shut the lion's mouth. They did not devour Daniel. The king found him the next day and found that he was alive and was happy about it. When he learned that these men were trying to just trick him because they hated Daniel, he threw the men into the lion's den. But what we learn here, Daniel's spiritual practices did get him in trouble, and that can happen to all of us sometimes. He never deviated from them regardless of the danger. But his commitment to God brought in God's protection. And Daniel grew stronger in body, mind, and spirit as he fulfilled his spiritual practices, no matter what happened. In fact, the scripture says, Daniel 6, the king ordered the people to start worshiping Daniel's God and praying to Daniel's God. So, as it said, the king promoted him and his spiritual practices. So Daniel made the best of his bad situation. He teaches you and I to do the same. Just because something is not going the way we want doesn't mean we go and start doing bad habits. Stick to the good habits, the good principles that we have. Have a right attitude toward life, towards ourselves. Have a consistent focus. Daniel had a consistent focus on his God. You may not be a Christian, but that's what Christians ought to do. And I encourage those of you who are not Christians to think about it. Where is God in your life? But Daniel's spirituality was at work in his everyday life, not on special days. As you know, Christians worship on either Saturday or Sunday. But Daniel's spirituality, which was more than just singing a hymn or a song and reading scripture, it was about how he lived. He used his spiritual practices, used his strengths, even when the chips were down. So Daniel is the example of a man whose spirituality was rooted and grounded in his commitment to his God. And as he maintained them, they helped him through the ups and downs of his life. You will experience ups and downs in FST, at UE. What will help carry you through? In who or in what are you grounded, my friends? But believe in yourself. Know that you are enough. You are good enough to succeed. Develop and strengthen all areas of your lives. Your spiritual well-being is one of those areas that should not be neglected. Be confident in yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to try. You'll never know if you can accomplish something if you don't try it. Respect everyone. Your colleagues, your friends, family, your lecturers, those in authority over you. Respect everyone. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to like them, but you can respect them. Don't sweat the small stuff. Know which battles are worth the effort and which things it's best to just walk away from. Being successful is a journey, not a destination. And I urge you, if you don't already, put your trust in Almighty God, our Creator. Thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention. All the best to you. And shalom, my friends.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today we'll be talking on physical wellness for my presentation. So what is physical health? We know that physical health can be defined in so many ways. So I came up with some definition that came to mind. So a person is physically healthy if they can go about their daily routine without being tired, a person without illness and chronic diseases, a person who exercise and practice good eating habits, a person who is stable mentally, spiritually, and sexually. How does one be physically healthy? Very simple. Practice good eating habits, adequate rest, and exercise. And we will be discussing all three of these. So the first one, eating healthy. Eating healthy is very important as an aspect in being physically well. So how can you can do this by eating a balanced meal. And we all know what's a balanced meal, choosing meals from foods from each of the 6 food groups. Give you a nice balanced meal. Okay, sounds challenging and unrealistic, but it really isn't. So let's break it down. You don't need to drink soda. You don't. Go drink some water. Water is very good. You can do without the carbonated drinks. You can do without your boxed drinks. Take the initiative to drink some water. Room temperature water is really good. You're not a water lover. I mean, some persons have done this before. They add like fruits or slices of fruits and things to their water to give it a little taste, to motivate them to actually drink the water. And water comes with a lot of benefits. Flush toxins from the blood, helping your nice skin tone, and drink some water. You can live without fast food. I must say it again. You can live without fast food. And I want you to say this. You can live without fast food. Try eating a sandwich with vegetables or foods without excess oil and grease. So, KFC lovers, Burger King lovers, I'm sure y'all see the prices right now. You don't need to get KFC anymore. You can just make some sandwich, ham and cheese sandwich, add some vegetables, add some lettuce, add some tomatoes, call it a day. That's your meal. Sounds nice, right? I know it does. Don't have too much of one food group on your plate, right? So if you have rice and peas and chicken, add some raw vegetables like some carrots, string beans, chocho, tomatoes, cucumbers, and you can drink a nice carrot juice or mango juice or potato apple juice or pineapple juice. Blend it up, yeah, natural things we're talking about. And that can give you a nice balanced meal. Or if you don't want to eat the balanced meal at once itself, you can say breakfast, I will eat ripe banana and drink some cornmeal porridge or some oatmeal porridge or some peanut porridge, and your orange juice. Hey, that's nice. You can say for lunch, I would have chicken with fries or chicken with wedges or, then for your dinner, you can say, I ate chicken today already. Or if you want to cut this, you can eat chicken again, but you can eat it with like mashed potatoes, and you can add your vegetables in the mashed potato mix. You can say chicken with some sweet corns and some Irish potato, sweet potato, banana, whatever you best goes for you, but try to have a variety. So try to eat something that gives you that balanced touch. Yeah. The second important thing is rest. You do a lot every day, and it is very important that you get some rest at the end of the day. It is required, that 8 hours sleep maximum is really good. Right now, people be thinking 8 hours, yes, very funny. People get like 3 hours, 4 hours, some person have insomnia, and the sort that prevents this from happening. But 8 hours is actually possible, guys. It really is. So I came up with some ways how you guys can rest. So make a schedule. Allot time to study, allot time to take notes, to do labs, and also to time to rest. So for me, especially going into third year, it's gonna be very hectic. Plus, I have roles and responsibilities. So I know that I have to make something that I can go by, organize myself. I'm not really one that follows timetables and stuff, but I have to discipline myself to do it. So I made a timetable, and I allow time to sleep, time between class where I can nap, time between class where I take notes, time to study, even have shower time and bath time and dinner time and breakfast time and devotion time. I'm just saying. So you can make a schedule and go by it. You can take naps in between classes and assignments, or you can simply just relax. Rest don't always mean sleeping, but stop working. Sometimes you just need to step away from the books and just relax. Go to your bed. And I'm going to say it in patois. Go to your bed. When there is nothing else to do, go to sleep. Come off the phones. You don't need to play the games. There are plenty of time for you to do that otherwise. Rest is important. You don't need to talk to Mary for 24 hours, 24/7. No. Mary can understand that you need to sleep, and Joseph know that you need to sleep. Rest is important. Go to bed. You may also look up ways to sleep easily if you are one that has problems sleeping. One way that I do sometimes when I can't fall asleep easily, I just lay on my back, and within 5 minutes I'm out. Yeah. If light affects you, if you're very sensitive to light when you're sleeping, you can wear eye covers to bed. It helps. The next one is exercise. Yay! So you want to be fit, you want to look toned, you need to exercise. You want that carnival body? Go exercise. You want that summer body for next year? Because we all know summer did cancel this year. Exercise, and you can start now. Like when you're done, you can start. So you're home during online learning and you're not moving up and down as if you're on campus. So it is very crucial for you to be active. Because I know that most of you, when online starts, I'm guilty. You go just stay in your pajama, I just stay in the bed. I never just eat, sleep, go class in the bed. You're not moving. So right now you need to be active. So here are some exercise tips that I prepare for you. So be consistent, right? You don't have to work out every day. So I remember when I took up the initiative to actually start exercising, and I said, yeah man, I'm gonna exercise every day. Clown. Big clown. No, every day wasn't cutting it, and I wasn't being consistent. So I said, okay, I went to the drawing board and I said, okay, how can I better, make it a part of my routine? And so I decided that every 2 days of the week, every 2 days of 2 weeks, I'm going to exercise. And I actually did stay on par. And it becomes something that it's just something, a routine for me to just get up and exercise on the days that I plan to, right? I mean, sometimes, things happen. I may not get exercise on this day, but I do get to exercise 2 times for every 2 weeks, yeah? And then now I added 3. I'm not passing 3. So 3 days for every 2 weeks, that's good. Be consistent. You can get others to work out with you as well if you want that to keep you motivated. You want some push to say, guys, come on, we're going to get that summer body, we're going to get that carnival body, we're going to get that, I don't know what kind of other bodies you have, but yes, get some people to motivate you. A simple 15 to 30 minutes of walking, running, or jogging is totally fine. So you don't need to go to some push-ups and some crunches and some planks and some high kicks and all of that. You can just walk. You can just run, and you can just jog. Or you can walk, run, or jog, run, or run, walk, all sorts of things. But 15 to 30 minutes of it is really good. Make it a part of you. Select some music to keep you going and pumped. I know some persons, it's kind of weird for me to just exercise and play silence. No, I have to have music. Make it a part of your lifestyle to exercise, as I've been saying. So, benefits of being physically well. It reduces the risk of a cardiovascular disease, reduces the risk of stroke, regulates blood pressure and blood flow, builds up your immune system, and keeps you looking firm and young. So I know some of you, when you're 40, you want to be looking like you just touched 20. It's not too late to develop the habit of becoming physically well. So, just to recap, the 3 main things that I've spoken to you guys about today is practice healthy eating habits, exercise, and get adequate rest. So thank you for tuning in, and I do hope this presentation has benefited you in some way, and that you may take this and, make it a part of you. As I said, being healthy is the way to go.
Hello everyone, I am Nurse Geddes and I'll be speaking to you on sexual health, the importance of sexual health, and how to maintain a good sexual health. The World Health Organization defines sexual health as the state of physical, mental, and social well-being in relation to sexuality. A more detailed definition by the National Coalition for Sexual Health states that having a healthier body, satisfying sex life, valuing and feeling good about yourself, having a peace of mind, positive relationships, whether short-term or long-term, experiencing pleasure, intimacy and joy, and avoiding sexually transmitted infections and unplanned pregnancy. They also said that a sexually healthy person is one who has access to sex education, information, and resources to care for sexual health issues. People who are sexually healthy can openly communicate about their sexual health and needs with intimate partners and also their healthcare providers. One may ask, why is it important for us to have good sexual health? Well, it is important because it enables people to take charge of their reproductive health and their emotional well-being surrounding their intimate relationships. A healthy, fulfilling relationship can improve a person's quality of life, improve their physical and mental health, and even extend their life. So practice good sexual health to live longer. One of the most important points of sexual health that we come across is safe sex. Not only does safe sex prevent STI and unwanted pregnancy, but it also prevents sexual abuse. And safe sex is not just using contraceptives and barrier protection, but it also involves protecting your mind, your emotional state. For example, sexual abuse can be from your partner, right? And that can decrease your sexual health. STIs can be spread through oral, vaginal or anal route, and 90% of adults will contract STI at least once in their lifetime, and that is a lot of persons. Unfortunately, some STIs do not cause any symptoms, and it is possible that you spread these asymptomatic STI to an unsuspecting partner if the partner does not use an effective barrier. So there are no signs and symptoms, so persons might have an STI and you do not know. The only way to prevent contracting these STI is barrier method. 1, using the latex condom, and 2, abstinence. Right? When you have these STIs that do not show symptoms, what they do is they develop into a bigger problem. So, for example, females might have a mild STI, no signs or symptoms, and later down in the years, it is difficult to have children, right? Another example, one STI, the chlamydia, that is very, very common. It does not have a lot of signs and symptoms, and most persons do not know when they have this STI. And what happens is that the longer you have it and not know or not get it treated, it develops into pelvic inflammation disease, and that destroys the uterus, and that may cause infertility in the future. It is very important to use the barrier methods and get regular tests for STIs once you are sexually active, especially the females, right? Some steps to good sexual health that I have here are: value who you are and decide what is right for you. Choosing your partner is very important. It is important to have a good, as the definition by WHO stated, it is important to have a good physical, mental, and social well being, right? And your partner contributes to that, your environment contributes to that. 2, treat your partners well and expect them to do the same. And that goes with the first point on mental health. 3, build positive relationships. That is straightforward. 4, get smart about your body and protect it. It is your body. No one will protect it like you would. And last and most important, make sexual health a part of your healthcare routine. Regular tests, visits, hygiene is very important.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I really want to thank the FST Council for inviting me to present in your health and wellness seminar. My name is Gallimore. I'm the Associate Dean for the Student Experience in the Faculty of Science and Technology. And so we're just going to get right into it and discuss what health and wellness really is to us. So health and wellness has many different elements. Yes, you have the physical health, academic health, which we know is very important because here we are in an academic institution. And of course, you are supposed to be reading for your degree. You're tired to hear that one. And so the academic health is absolutely very crucial in this phase of your life. Emotional health, of course, financial health, social health, and spiritual health. So on the right, you can see the wheel of life. And the wheel of life has many elements to it. And among the elements are some of the things that we had mentioned on the left-hand side in terms of health. But the truth of the matter is that you can't have every single thing to the same extent for all your life. So what I'm saying is there's going to be a point in time when some things will take more priority than others. We speak about the concept of balance, and the truth is we can't have everything to the same extent all the time. So it is more of a concept of harmony as opposed to balance. So in this particular wheel, you can see where fun is kind of high up there on the listing in terms of the extent to which it's important. But as we're heading into school is starting back, we can't, the YouTube that we used to be on, binge watching this show, that show, those things are going to have to go way down on the scale, because your academic health is going to be way up on that scale. And so in that whole wheel of life, you recognize that some things are priorities in certain phases of your life. So for example, physical health. Physical health is very important. But whereas during Corona or during the time period when you were off, guys, you could go to the gym for like maybe 4 or 5 hours because you want to look more for the girls, etc. Truth is, those 4 or 5 hours will now have to be devoted to your academic health, all right? As well as other facets of your life. All right, the next slide gives some details in terms of the student experience and the types of health that are associated with that student experience. First one, of course, is the academic experience. And we know these are the things that you will hear over and over again. You need to attend your lectures, you need to go to your tutorials and to your labs, virtual or not, okay? As we know that some labs are not, and so we can work through that one, all right? The other thing I want to mention is you need to pursue a growth environment. Now, it is said that if you are the brightest person in your class, you're in the wrong class. So it means, therefore, that, and yes, you could be doing a course and you're the brightest one in the course. What I'm saying here is that you need to seek out persons who know more than you. All right? They may not be in your class. They may be in a level higher than you. So the idea is that you need to maintain a growth environment. Third thing I want to mention here is maintaining unquestionable integrity. And this has come up in a very serious way over the past couple of months. And what I want to say to you is that you have to be very, very careful about what you do and how you do it. Because some things may come back to haunt you, and they may haunt you for the rest of your days. And so it means you have to, if there is a possibility where you could take a one peek in the book when you're not supposed to, your own integrity and your own self-value has to come into play, where you are now thinking, okay, I value myself and I value this degree that I'm going to get so much that I am going to do it the right way. And then the other thing I want to mention is you need to embrace the lessons taught by failure, okay? It is said that there's more that you'll learn from failure than you learn from success. And so there are going to be times in the academic journey where your academic health may not be as up as you want it to be, but there are lessons to be learned in every phase of your life. So learn the lessons and learn them well before things get worse. Okay, then you have the spiritual experience. Irving Hall has a thematic line, and it's called Know Thyself. Now, the truth is, prior to coming to university, you may have been in a situation where you were always going to church or things of that nature, and now you have a lot of questions that you may not have had, or you may have suppressed them prior to coming to university. This is a time and a phase in your life to get to know what it is you actually believe. And don't be afraid of the fact that there's questioning that's going to come in the mix. You're going to have those questions, but you're going to have to go through the process of answering those questions. And sometimes it takes a little while to get there, okay? But at the end of the day, you want to have known yourself so that your spiritual health would be in a good place. You also need to remember your Creator, says the word, in the days of your youth, right? You are primarily young persons, and so you need to have that sense of balance in everything that you do. And you need to clarify your core values. This is a stage of life when you have to get on a pathway where you are living out your core values. All right, so those are a couple of other experiences to come in terms of the student experience. It comes to now the financial experience. And of course, in that, you know, you need to have financial health in this era of your life. You know, you don't want to be in a situation where your school fees aren't paid, miscellaneous fees not paid. And I know that it's sometimes very challenging, and sometimes you have family members who didn't plan for you, you know, but you're just going to have to work with what you've been given and do it to the best of your abilities. Okay, scholarships and bursaries, remember, get that GPA up so that you have options. Okay, so that is the financial health. We want you to be totally financially healthy because we want you to be able to focus on your academics so that those things don't get sidetracked. Okay, the social experience is a very important one. I need to make that very clear. And you need to establish rapport with staff, faculty, and students. I know you can't see that too well, but it's staff, faculty, and students. Now, one thing I want to mention here is the truth of the matter is that the type of person you are is noted by what it is that how it is that you treat people who you don't have anything to gain from. All right. So, for example, it's going to mean that you're going to have to be good to people, be nice to people. That is part of the social experience, and that is part of the social health that you're going to be getting from this UE experience. So it's not just faculty you're going to be nice to, you're going to be a good person to all of the individuals who are associated with you. And so the next part of that speaks about seeking out mentors and friendships. We're still at mentors and friendships. We're still at social experience. Seeking out mentors and friendships. Now, there's this book that I've read called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And in that book, I read where a gentleman had 20 mentors. So he had persons who would coach him in very different areas of his life. So what is the truth? You are going to need to have different persons who know more than you in different areas. So for example, you need to have a mentor in business. Possibly if you have a business venture, you're going to need to have a mentor in who has better people skills than you, who can help you, you know. So you need to seek out those mentors. You also need to seek out friendships. Now, my longest standing friend came to me courtesy of the University of West Indies Mona campus, right? We have been friends for a good while, you know, and so you need to, that's also an important thing. Coming on the campus, that social health, that seeking out those friendships, and it's deep friendships you're talking about. You know, it is said that friends are like elevators. They either take you up or they bring you down. And so you need to ensure that you seek out the friendships that will elevate you and elevate your life. The other thing that is, of course, part of the social experience is romance. And what is the truth of the matter? It is part of our natural inclination, and it's part of our social health to want to have these relationships. And absolutely nothing is wrong with it. The challenge is that you want to align yourself to individuals who are elevating you and elevating who you are, and who are valuing you and taking you seriously. You know, that is what you do actually want to have in your life. And so those are the types of relationships that you should pursue. I remember when I came on campus, I was living on Seacole Hall, and the first semester, we didn't have the semester system yet, but you understand. First semester, first year, I found a boyfriend. Well, yes. And so the truth of the matter is, and you know, you just get all excited, yes, man, boyfriend, and all that type of thing. That relationship lasted the first semester. So what if, you know, I put all my whole life and energy into this person, and 3 months later, they were with somebody else? You have to think through all of these things and not rush into anything. Girls, I am aware that there are more girls around than guys, okay? And guys are very aware of that as well. But you have to keep your standards high, keep the respect up so that your social and mental and emotional health can remain in place, guys. All right, the other thing on the other slide was to find your happy place. Now, my happy place is the beach. You need to find your happy place, because there are going to be times when you're going to have to pull back. For your health, you're going to have to do some pulling back in order to get to where you want to go in life and in order for your mental health to be in place. All right, so find that happy place. And I am, next slide is giving some tips for making the most of your time here at UWI. First thing is get involved. I remember when I came on campus, I was just so focused about schoolwork, I did not do anything else. Do not be like me, okay? Get involved, join a club, join a society, learn to interface with other people, get those social skills up and running. I'm also encouraging you to sign up for the Holistic Development Program. In that Holistic Development Program, it speaks to all of these areas of health. Okay, so intellectually, yes, you're on the campus. Academically, yes, you're on the campus, but you need to grow in many other areas of your life. So the Holistic Development Program, sign up on the FST website for that. We also have the First Gen FST program for those who are the first in their families to go to a tertiary institution. Your parents didn't go, your grandparents didn't go, you are the pioneer in your family. We want to be able to support you. Okay, and that is also on the FST website. Next thing I have here, network. Now, Robert Kiyosaki says that rich people build networks and everyone else looks for work. A network is absolutely crucial and critical to your advancement in your life. All right? So ensure that you talk to people from all different walks of life. The next thing I have there is sit in the front of the class. And of course, we know we're online, so you need to get online early. When you're on, when the lecturer comes on and the lecturer sees, okay, there are only 5 students in the class, they will know that you are among those 5 students that are in that class, because you have recognized the value of getting up early. Do not come in late because, I'm just at home. No, have that level of discipline to get on board and get on board early so that you will get online early. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. There are things all of us can complain about, but there's no value in complaining. You have to always be thankful and grateful for what you have. Then pursuing a personal growth agenda is important. You're not going to grow if you're not deliberate about growing. And that includes reading books. So yes, you're going to have to focus on your academics, no question about that, but you also need to not neglect some other important areas of your life. So read a book that's advancing you personally. Seek out powerful associations. Listen to audios, listen to watch videos. Don't just be watching videos about what the Kardashians did and said and who they're with. You need to listen to audios, listen to YouTube videos of persons who are helping you to grow. There is something that John Maxwell speaks about. He speaks about the daily 5. That's 5 things that you do every day. Success, he says, is found in your daily routine, what you do every single day. So you need to make the most of your time here at UWI. You need to clarify, what are my daily 5s? What are the 5 things that I need to do on a daily basis in order to grow and change and expand my circle? And then the last thing I have here is studying people. I've been talking about people, and I continue to talk about the importance and the value of having people in your life and people in your circle. Now, some of you may say, boy, I'm shy and da-da-da. This is not the time to be shy. I'm so sorry. I'm an introvert myself, but guess what? Sometimes you're just gonna have to get with it. And so your IQ is very important, but what is absolutely much more critical is your EQ, your emotional quotient, your emotional intelligence. And that speaks to self-awareness and awareness of others around me. And that is very key to move you forward in your life. So those are some tips that I want to give for making the most of your time here on UE. And I'm wrapping up with this saying from Paul Meyer: whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. And so I encourage you to make the most of your UA experience, ensure that you remain healthy and whole and well and prosperous in every single area of your life. Thank you very much for inviting me to share, and I trust that you will have a wonderful experience here on the UE Mona campus. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Christoph Dawkins, your Science and Technology male GCC for the term 2020-2021. And today I'll be just giving you a brief synopsis on the GCC portfolio. But before I get into it, I'd like to big up my partner, Kiara Shannon, the female GCC. So big up yourself, Kiara. So the Games Chair Committee is responsible for creating an environment for the students of the Faculty of Science and Technology in which they can grow towards a life of health and wellness by various games and activities. The GCC provides a path towards holistic development, which in turn improves the academic life of a student. So for the term, we have good amount of plans, but our major plan is the Health and Wellness Seminar. So collaborations will be done among the GCC, CEAC, and the EAC. The aim is to help students start the school year focused and motivated to do well in their academics. This will be beneficial to the lives of students within or outside the walls of the university. So we have many activities to promote health and wellness, but our three main ones are the Healthy Smoothie Day, where we just make smoothies, have a great time, get to know each other. Members of the guild committee and our viewers, talk and have fun. We have our aerobics jam fit sessions, where we'll exercise, while having fun, still getting to know each other, and we'll have games such as our FIFA tournaments and other games. So that's basically it. Thank you for your time. Remember to stay inside, stay safe, and sanitize. Enough love.
The External Affairs Committee of the Faculty of Science and Technology is pleased to be a part of this Health and Wellness Seminar. Mental health has always been important for university students, and when you think about the current global pandemic, it is of even more importance. Many of us, most of us, will be doing classes online, but for a few of us, we will be coming in for face-to-face labs. Regardless of the mode of what you're doing for class, it's going to be a bit challenging. So my advice has always been for university: don't make it stress you. Don't make it stress you. It seems simple, but it's really of great importance. So there can be anxiety and stress associated with going to university, but I have a couple tips for you. One is to always be prepared. If you have a presentation that you need to do, prepare for it. If you have an exam, try as best as possible to be prepared for it, because you can't really expect to be confident during your exam if you haven't really truly practiced. And another point is to find something that makes you happy. Find something that relaxes you. For me, that is praying. It's also playing the guitar. So after a long day at school, I just play the guitar, and while I'm strumming, it helps me to feel even more relaxed. So you could try something like that, just something to relax you. And as it stands for school online, you still want to ensure that you have a solid friend group. So you don't want your friends to feel neglected. And also, really talking to your friends, they can help you to get a better perspective. So you could have Zoom sessions with your friend. Let's say you have a test coming up. You can say, hey, let us study together on Zoom for 1 hour each week in preparation. So there are people out there who are willing to help you. So if you need the help, please reach out. Don't just try to do it yourself. So the EAC team is ready to partner with the GCC team to ensure that for Wellness Wednesdays, we provide you with mental health tips. So we are there for you. And remember, we are the Faculty of Greatness, and we'll get through this. Smile as you do it.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabrielle Jones and I am your CEAC, your Cultural and Entertainment Affairs Chairperson for the Faculty of Science and Technology for this academic year. Today I have the privilege of speaking to you guys about my favorite topic, favorite project, Wellness Wednesday. So before we get into what Wellness Wednesday is, let us talk about what wellness is. Wellness, according to my friend here, is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain better physical and mental outcomes. So instead of just surviving, you're thriving. Wellness Wednesday is a year-long project. And the purpose of this project is to raise awareness of the 6 aspects of wellness that we will be focusing on to our FST family. But how do we plan this? And this is a great question to ask because, as you know, everything is online due to this whole pandemic. So as such, we plan to raise awareness via online media. So Instagram posts, online competition that could be done on either Instagram or other social media platform, and online activities. Let's talk about the 6 aspects of wellness. The first one being physical, then environmental, mental, social, spiritual, and last but not least, emotional. Physical wellness, as you can imagine, will promote the proper care of our bodies for optimal health and functioning. Overall physical wellness encourages the balance of physical activity, nutrition, and mental well-being to keep our bodies in tip-top condition. Examples of physical wellness would range from starting to play a sport or just doing physical exercise, prioritizing sleeping, which is very important, drinking a lot of water or enough water, and last but not least, checkup. And I know that since we've been at home more, you don't want to necessarily go to the doctor unnecessarily, right? So maybe for that you can just take a check, like within yourself, think about it. Like, I'm not going to school anymore as often as I should. I'm not really exposed to the sun. Do I think I need any vitamin D3 or calcium or that kind of thing? So we can just look at that. And even with the whole water drinking, we're not going to school as often, or we're not on the road as much, so maybe we don't drink as much water for the day. Maybe we can try to challenge ourselves or always ensure that we drink a certain amount of cups of water. The next aspect of wellness is environmental. Environmental wellness inspires us to live a lifestyle that is respectful of our surroundings. It promotes interaction with nature and our personal environment. And I love when they said personal environment, because a lot of the time we think about environmental wellness or just environment, and we think about outside as in trees and grass and plants and all of that, and water. But really, for the personal environment, we always sort of don't think about it. It's all about like what we're around right now, or environment would be an online environment, or your environment is just study area, your room, your home, that kind of thing. So being environmentally well is all about having the ability to recognize the personal responsibility that we have for the quality of our environment, so our air, or land, or water, and or personal space. So examples of that of being, how to be environmentally well is recycling, trying to drink from a glass, a personal bottle, like a reusable bottle instead of a plastic one, stainless steel, or glass. Trying to turn the tap off when you're not using it, and just cleaning your environment. And this goes for both being at home and outside. So as I said, our environment is online right now. To clear the clutter off your computer, that could be a way to keep yourself environmentally well. Your study area, your decks, anywhere. Another aspect is mental wellness. And as you can imagine a lot of people speak a lot about mental wellness or mental health, and that's just because it is that much important. It is a positive state of mental health. It comes from feeling balanced, connected to others, and ready to meet life challenges. It is more than just the absence of mental illnesses, but it's about, having your mind in order and functioning in your best interest. And mental wellness, it encompasses all other aspects of wellness. So, trying to be physically active and, staying away from social media sometimes just to give yourself a break, eating healthy food, journaling, which I think is very important, prioritizing sleep, having fun with friends, and finding a hobby. Just something to do when you're busy and overwhelmed. There's something you want to go to sort of give you a calm feeling and just to ground you a little bit. Another aspect is social wellness. This would deal with relationships we have and how we interact with others. Social wellness also involves building healthy, nurturing, supportive relationships, as well as fostering a genuine connection with those around you. And I think this is very important as well. Examples are, just having good friends, having friends who motivate you and call you out when you're doing the wrong thing, no toxic friends or anything like that. Another example is having online connection with your friends. A lot of the times, for me, since school is like online now and we've been at home a lot, I don't get to see my friends as much as I would hope to. So we talk on Zoom, we talk on WhatsApp, video call, FaceTime, and I think you get a different feeling when you're online, like you're seeing their faces, facial reactions, and all of that, and I think it helps to sort of keep the link and keep the bond there, And another example would be finding something you enjoy doing. I think this works hand in hand with, everything else in the sense where you figure out what you like and who you are, what the stuff that you're into, and then it helps you to find people who are into the similar stuff, and then you can build that bond, that real bond with them. So I think this is also something that we can try and employ. Another aspect is spiritual wellness. And that is all about being connected to something greater than yourself. It is about having a set of values, principles, morals, and beliefs that provide a sense of purpose and meaning to your life. Then using these principles to guide your actions. A lot of the time we think about spiritual wellness or anything spiritual as being religious, and I don't necessarily think it always has to be from that standpoint. It could just be meditating, saying a couple positive affirmations, writing down the positive affirmations, reading motivational stuff, or it could be, praying and visiting a place of worship or even doing yoga. So there are a lot of things we can try to keep ourselves and guide our actions. Lastly, we have emotional wellness, which inspires self-care, relaxation, the reduction of stress, and the development of your inner strength. It is important for us to be attentive to both the positive and the negative feelings that we have and be able to manage them when these arise. Examples are, having a positive energy, a positive attitude, a positive vibe, just always trying to stay positive. I think, you can fake it till you make it, but you can really just try and speak positively and think positively and just do positive stuff and influence others to do the same. And though you won't be feeling positive all the time, in a case like that, you can always say, speak to someone, whether it be a professional or a friend, but it's not good to bottle stuff up. So, and if you don't feel like you want to talk about it, you can always get a journal or just write it down in a book. And when you feel better, or if you're feeling sad and you've already written in it, you can always skip back a couple pages and look and see when you were feeling good or that high moment that you had and see if it would help you to feel better now. So we have discussed our 6 aspects of wellness that we CEAC team will focus on for Wellness Wednesday. So we have a few ideas of how you will see the Wellness Wednesday posts on IG or other social media. This will give you an idea of what to look out for every Wednesday. We will try and do activities as well each month on one aspect, so you can look out for that as well. If you have any concerns, or if you think that you have a wellness tip that you would like to share with us, to share with the FST family, then you can always just DM us on Instagram, or you can email me at my email address here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was informative and that you will employ some of these examples in your everyday life and see what works for you.
Good day, everyone. I trust that this health and wellness seminar gave you the encouragement and the energy to boldly step into the academic year 2020-2021. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. This seminar has, as said by the CEAC, Gabriel Jones, is to help the students become well-developed individuals, not just in your academics, but also to gain life skills needed to survive within and outside the walls of the university. Special thanks to our guest speakers. The health and wellness team were truly happy that you have, in your own way, contributed to the well-being of the students of the Faculty of Science and Technology. Special thanks are also in order to the PCC, the PRO, and the VPSI team for making this seminar a success. And finally, thanks and praise to God for bringing such people of talent, purpose, and passion to deliver the seminar to help the students have a successful year in the midst of a global crisis. Please do head over to our Instagram page. There is a question on our IG story. First person to answer will receive a very special prize. Thank you all once more for tuning in. Do have a good rest of the day.